Good morning, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. I am Tim, back once again for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series Amelia Romagna Grand Prix. But today, I'm not alone. I am with my co-commentator, Mansell. How are you doing today?
Yeah, very well, Tim. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, I'm here now for GP2 comms full time. Obviously, I was on GP3 with Tom, but now, as I'm a GP3 driver now, I'm now moved to GP2 comms and no longer a GP2 driver. So, yeah, great to be with you, Tim, and to join you for the rest of the season as well.
And I'm glad to have you. I know, especially back in Baku, it was pretty much just me talking nonstop. So it's always fun to have a co-commentator. That way, when something goes wrong in the comms box, I can just blame you. I am joking, by the way.
Well, it gives your voice a bit of a rest for a while I'm speaking, of course. So that's a benefit of a co-comms, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, you're not just some random guy that we picked up off the street. You know your stuff. You've raced with these guys. You've raced in SFR. You've been here for, a little over a year now, so you're familiar with it and you're knowledgeable.
Exactly that. Obviously, I think I debuted on comms as soon as I joined Speed Force Racing, and that was with you, Tim, in GP4 at the Netherlands Grand Prix in Season 8. Can't believe I actually remembered that, but I actually remember that.
And Mansell, I'm sorry, but I actually don't remember that. I know that we have shared a comms box quite a few times, especially last season, but I don't remember you jumping in with me during a GP4 race. But, GP4 has been a while. It's been a while since I've commentated on that series, and in a way, I guess I do kind of miss it. But
yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. Obviously, you've been with GP4 for a while. Obviously, before even GP5 was even existed. Obviously, you were GP4. For what, 2.5 seasons probably doing comms on that. But now you with GP2. Now, obviously, now with you being a GP5 driver. So yeah, I'm guessing this is your new kind of home, I guess, the GP2 commentating.
That it is, but it has been a fantastic home for me, and we have seen some fantastic points battles last season, and this season, who knows, it's starting to shape up to be something of, well, maybe history book proportions. As we take a look at Bossy Gaming now, starting his lap, he will be the first driver to blink, the first driver to set a flying lap, and every week I've got to give him grief about the CAD issues that he had in, I believe, Portimao. It was either Portimao or the race before Portimao earlier this season, but he has not had those issues since then, so maybe I should just kind of, maybe that ship has sailed, but I just love making the reference.
What was it? Is Cat pulling the power cable out of his PlayStation, was it? Or something like that?
The cat pulled the LAN cable out, so he just completely lost internet connection.
Right. Yeah, I knew it was something along those lines. I can't remember what kind of cable it was, but I know it was a cable.
Cables are all the same. They're my arch enemy. If you've ever tried to roll cables, they're actually very, very difficult. I do that with my line of work, and it's very stressful. But Bossy Gaming having to avoid the Red Bull there and had a little bit of not a spin, but a slide, and he does invalidate out of that chicane. It is an awful chicane, and that invalidation, you see that red track map on the right side of your screen, Mansell? Well, you're going to have to get used to seeing that all day long, because this track is the worst for time penalties. Throw Canada out the window, throw Baku, throw Monza, any track that you have ever thought was bad on time penalties, throw it out the window, because Imola is definitely the worst.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, I didn't race at Imola yesterday because I was actually at college. So I just actually arrived back home today as my old teammate, S10 Morris, the first one, of course, 15-1 from my start of the season's teammate and always teammate. Hopefully, I'll be joining him soon. Don't know when I get back up to pace, of course. But yeah, 15-1 from Morris, and Rogue Smithy is right behind him with a 15-7. TNR Frederick getting some slipstream off from his teammate of TNR Langfeld to start his lap as well. So some team strategy going on already there at Aston Martin.
And it's always good when you see teammates working together, and that just goes to show that they are in a party together and that they're going to be able to work together, because that's one thing that seems counterproductive to me, is that sometimes you'll have drivers that are not in a party with their teammate. They're not in communication with their teammate. And that just doesn't make sense to me, because it can only benefit both of you if you are in communication.
Yeah, obviously when you're right next to each other in the race, you obviously can communicate towards each other who's going to be quicker, who's going to be, you know, especially if you actually have a first and second driver. Obviously, Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, for example. Obviously, if you was in communication like that, you could work really well. Obviously, a bit like Abu Dhabi, where Perez really held up Lewis Hamilton. It can be a bit like that if you are communicating with each other.
Exactly, and I mentioned it as we see TNR Frederick go to P3 with a 1:16.150, but I mentioned it last week in another series that I was commentating on to my co-commentator, that a lot of times people call your teammate your biggest rival in Formula One, and that is just an awful way to look at it. I understand that you want to beat your teammate because you want to win, and the only way to do that is to beat your teammate, as Hazara goes to a 1:15.272. But your teammate is the only friend that you have out there. It's the closest thing to a friend that you have. So you should not focus on beating them. You should focus on working with them and then worry about beating them. Yep. That should be your second concern.
Obviously, we had a massive kind of Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg kind of rivalry back in GP3 with Season 8 between Ray Trunter and Calvin. Obviously, they did work together really well as well. There was no really proper incidents between the two. They actually got along really well. The main focus was taking the constructors, and then they actually finished 1-2 and took the championship all the way down to the wire in Abu Dhabi. So, you know, if you have a good bond like Calvin and Rage did, you'll go a very good way in the constructors fight.
Meanwhile, Eric's Mamba goes to the pole, a 1:14.896, and Train Game Wow, we're taking a look at him now as he's in the third and final sector about to start his flying lap. Train Game Wow and Eric's Mamba, of course, are two of our newest commentators to join the commentary team at Speed Force Racing, so we are, of course, you know, just welcome to have them aboard. We feel fantastic to have them not only racing with us, but commentating for us as well.
Yeah, of course. The more comms we have, the better, really. Even reserves, well, we don't really call them reserves, but like part-time comms, you know, we just love people who join us on comms, because it's a great little part-time job, let's say, for the Speed Force Racing for us. It's quite enjoyable at times as well. Well, at a time, most of the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, commentary, it can be stressful too, but I guarantee you that it's not as stressful as you and I can both attest to being out there on the racetrack. Case in point for me is I'm usually cussing when I'm racing, and I can't cuss when I'm commentating. Mind you, that is not by my choice. I just try to keep it professional. Quote unquote professional. Anyway, Oh, go ahead. Do what?
Fun but professional.
So turning to the chat now, I see Garrett Vickers. He says he's gonna miss racing with me, and I know, but you know, you're going to enjoy GP4. I know that you had a little bit of a rough race on Monday, but it's gonna turn around for you eventually, and you were running in the points before the DNF, so it's just a matter of, you know, getting a little bit of luck to turn around too. But nonetheless, congratulations on your almost good run at GP4, and when you do get a good run, congratulations on that as well. Hunter KJ, he apparently didn't realize you were promoted to GP4, and I think, where's Hunter racing now? Is he GP4, GP3?
Hunter is also GP4 as well.
Okay, meanwhile, Train Game Wow goes to second, a 1:14.935 for the Alfa Romeo driver. We'll go ahead and take a look at the Mercedes of Crowhawk. He invalidated his outlap, but that doesn't matter. Wow, he threw a little bit of a block on that Red Bull, honestly. Not sure what's going on there.
I was watching Roy Smithy use on the medium tyres, and he just went all over the place.
Okay, so
at the end of at the start of sector 2, and now he invalidates because obviously he lost a lot of time as well on those medium tyres. Looked quite a decent lap from Roy Smithy up to that point, but got Calvin. He's actually on a in-lap, I think, 4.2 seconds down on out-lap, something like that.
So Eric Yeast and Crowhawk are both just racing each other, and I'm not exactly sure why they're wanting to race each other during the qualifying, so that's a little bit ridiculous if you ask me, but it's whatever. Crowhawk's already invalidated his lap, so not sure what's going on there. Might have some stewards reports to be talking about next week.
Yeah, possibility. I did see something naughty from Crowhawk. I was on board with something, but I'm not going to mention what just happened. I don't know if you saw it as well, Tim, but
Oh no,
Yes.
I definitely saw it. I definitely saw it, and I'm the kind of person I'll call things like I see it, but ultimately it is not my place to make a decision. So we leave that up to the stewards, and we'll let them enjoy their job as Son of Fubar, last week's winner, goes to the pole, a 1:14.657.
Yeah, so I think there is 2 full-time seats available at the moment. My old Haas seat and Senna's Ferrari seat as well. Those seats have still not been confirmed who they are. We might get some confirmation who it might be at the end of this week or after today. I think a good choice so far is probably going to be one of them, Senna Furbar. At the moment with this pace, it's probably going to be GP1.
Perhaps so, as we take a look at Odd Ivan, the winner from Mexico last season. And he seems to be settling in full-time in GP2. May not have had the success that he had hoped for yet, but he's slowly getting there. P12 at the moment, but I'm sure that this is going to be at least a slightly faster lap. Of course, we have to just wait and see. Looks like he was 7/10 up on his best lap that time around. So in the third and final sector now, we'll just wait and see what kind of time he's able to lay down. Meanwhile, Doran says Fubar is rapid. Yes, he certainly is. A 1:14.6. These are fast times. Welcome to GP2, my friend, as Odd Ivan crosses the line, and he will go to P9, 1:15.489.
Yeah, good luck there from X Gamer. Goes pole at the moment with a 1:14.637.
X Gamer, of course, your winner from Portugal, and it's the only race that he's ran this season so far. He missed Bahrain and he missed last week, so out of one race, he's got one win, and now he's on the provisional pole with just under 6.5 minutes remaining today.
Yeah, X Gamer, he's improved a lot since I was back in season 8. He's improved since then a lot. He's getting a lot more wins. Obviously the second win in GP2 for him, I think now. But he's definitely a front runner guy for GP2 now.
Mansell, I believe that your microphone might have cut off there at the end, but taking a look at Eric's Mamba, who has unfortunately invalidated his lap, and Son of Fubar second, Eric Yeast goes to, I believe, third. That was the change that we just saw. Looking for a driver on a lap. Tinar Frederick, he has invalidated. It looks like Tom Goproff is on a lap, and he needs a lap because his best lap time is a 1:37. So Tom Goproff, out of all the drivers, definitely needs a lap out there on that track, and he's pretty much put down the banker of all banker laps. Of course, we got 3 drivers who have yet to set a lap, to Jonas Crowhawk and King David, waiting on Tom Goproff as well. Crowhawk, I do believe, will cross the line after Tom Goproff, so we will more or less go in that order, as we have just under 5.5 minutes remaining in the qualifying session, and then we will be able to start our race, and it's going to be a very interesting one, I think, Mansell.
Oh yeah, definitely. Obviously, I haven't really watched GP2 this season, other than, of course, I was a driver, so I haven't really been watching any races back. So, in all honesty, I don't really know how these guys have been racing. Obviously, I've been at the back most of the time, but I know they've been racing pretty clean so far this season, and it's been very interesting fighting at the front. Of course, I'm looking at the minimap while racing. It's been very close so far. I don't think anyone's got a second race win this season yet.
No, they have not. It's been TNR to Jonas, X Gamer, and of course Son of Fubar winning last week. And in addition to that, looks like it was Kara who also got a win. Of course, Kara picked up a win in the Canadian Grand Prix.
Kara, yeah, that's it. I remember because I tried to come into the pits to put a fastest lap in, but then decided to not. Otherwise, I was going to get lapped by Kara. I was like, great. I have to stay out.
So looking at Crowhawk, who is really struggling around here. He went very wide out of that corner. And, well, he goes through the sand trap there. So Crowhawk may be trying a little bit of a different line through the corner, but I don't think the sand trap is going to work. Granted, he didn't beach himself, so I guess that's something.
Got my old teammate coming up behind him. He's actually on a lap as well.
So he moves over, lets Morris by. Morris, of course, a 115.195. We'll go ahead and take a look at the Haas driver there. Of course, some interesting news coming out of the real-life Haas development camp today as Kevin Magnussen will be returning with the team and driving for the full season, and it's allegedly a multi-year deal.
Yep, I think the team know what they're doing. Obviously, they're getting that experience. Kevin Magnussen, of course, has been with the team before, so they know how they operate. So I think it's a very good choice for Haas, and a very good teammate as well. Obviously, Mick Schumacher, the future of the sport. So yeah, let's see how those two get along.
Meanwhile, Morris improves his lap time a little bit, a 114.921 goes to P7, and now is when all the drivers decide to go out there. What's happened, Manson?
Calvin, on that, just out of the second chicane, went into the gravel trap and now he's avoided his lap. I think he might have been up on his time, not 100% sure though. But now, of course, he's backed out of the lap going into the gravel trap.
Meanwhile, we still Owen to Jonas. He is out. He was one of the drivers who needs to set a time, so to Jonas will have to start at the rear of the field. Looks like he just had a little bit of a crash. Not sure where that is. Looks like it is out of turn number 3, if my math is correct. But, you know, I did fail a lot of math classes in my time, so don't ever quote me on my arithmetic.
Yeah, so lucky there for to Jonas. But with that, he, of course, has a free choice of tyre. I think he's got a Haas, no? Might have been Morris getting out the way, or has he spun? He's letting people go, actually. That's what the yellow flag is for.
So
these guys are about to start their final laps now.
Yeah, watching X Gamer now in the Ferrari. Of course, as we said, X Gamer 1 win, 1 race this season, but he is here for the full time. Just hasn't been able to compete in every single race just yet. However, I do have to correct myself. He got 2nd place in Canada, so it's been 2 races and 1 win. I actually just remembered that as I was stalking, and he goes a little bit wide out of that chicane, so it likely will not be an improvement this time. He does have enough time to go for 1 more lap, putting a little bit more wear on those soft tires, but sometimes it is worth it.
Yeah, I think he's backed out this lap and he might be going again. Looks like he's about to begin another lap. Obviously he does have time. He improved by 6/10. I don't think that was true. Him telling me 6/10 he improved, but I don't think that's true. As the East is out in the Red Bull, at the hairpin.
And that is a shame for Yeast, so he will be doing no better than 4th in the qualifying session with a 114.693. Son of Fubar, who had a very quick pole time. Something has actually happened to X Gamer, unfortunately. He has disconnected from the session, so X Gamer will do no better than 2nd. Son of Fubar, we're watching him now. He's on an out lap, just barely going to be able to start his final flying lap. And now we'll watch Son of Fubar see if he can knock Tom GoProp off of that top spot.
Calvin improves by about 3/10, gets himself up to P11. And Hazara, provisional pole, and Son of Burbar's lost it. He's into the wall, but he's lost his front ring. But that is his qualifying over and done with, so he can't get out of pole position.
And sadly, poor choice of camera angles. Missed most of that, but I'm sure that Son of Fubar saw all of it, and he's not happy with it. But at least it happened during qualifying, and maybe won't happen during the race, so there's always that to go on. Now, taking a look at Tom GoProp on his final lap, he's going to try to knock Hazara off that top spot. We have got some close times, though. The top 3 separated by a 10th. Actually, the top 5, it appears, separated by approximately a 10th or so, and Hazara with a 114.505, a very impressive lap there.
Oh, it's invalidated. Oh dear for Tom.
And that is, those 2 corners are very difficult, and it's hard to get right because it's downhill braking, so you need to really back that corner up and brake just a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
So Son of Fubar there, you see the Alpine with no wing, trying to look for another driver on the lap. Langfell in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, and then there's Mamba behind him, obviously GP3 champion. He's improving as well, so if you stay with Langfell, I'll stay with Mamba.
Oh, and Langfell, he invalidated out of the final corner. And that's exactly what I was talking about. That final corner is just difficult.
Yeah, Mamba goes P3. Good lap from Mamba.
King David on the lap now in the Haas, of course, taking your seat for the day. And through the final 2 corners goes that Haas car. Let's see if he's going to be able to improve. Currently only in P16. He's definitely going to be looking for an improvement here as he crosses that line. He will go to P16. So unfortunately, no improvement there for King David, but a slight improvement in the lap time in 1:15.476, if I do believe. It was a little bit slower beforehand. So King David will be lining up in the 16th position, and I do believe that what you see is what you're going to get. So now, something new that I've been trying to do, starting last week in Baku, is to give the chat some trivia questions. And me and Mansell were talking about it before the race, and we've come up with a pretty decent one, I think. So, as you know, the modern version of the Formula One Grand Prix at Imola is called the Amelia Romagna Grand Prix. But before that, it was called the San Marino Grand Prix. Now, which driver won the final San Marino Grand Prix? And bonus points if you can tell me how many times that driver has won that specific race. As we now give you a rundown of the official starting lineup for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series Amelia Romagna Grand Prix, as Hazara gets the pole, Tom Goproff in second, Mamba in third, X-Gamer in fourth, Son of Fubar in fifth, Yeast in sixth, Odd Ivan in seventh, eighth is Morris, ninth is Train Game Wow, Bossy Gaming in 10th, Rogue Smithy in 11th, 12th is Langfell, Calvin Racing in 13th, Pim in 14th, Frederick in 15th, King David in 16th, Martin in 17th, and 18th is to Jonas with Crowhawk in the 19th position.
Yep, so again, GP2 qualifying. So close, it always is. Between first and 16th position is all within 1 second of each other. I don't know why, but GP2 has always got the closest qualifying gaps all the time. It happens all the time, it does, in GP2.
Just means that we're in for a nice close race. Of course, we don't know what the weather forecast is going to be, so we're just going to wait until we get into the paddock. It was a little bit cloudy during qualifying, as you saw, so let's see if it's going to be rainy or dry. Oh my goodness, it's going to be pouring today.
Oh, that's definitely full wet conditions. You can see in the pit lane, it's puddles all over the place in the pit lane, so definitely going to be full wets.
Nah, you can throw a set of soft tires on there. You'll be okay. So now, Mansell, I don't know if you remember this about me, but it's time for us, and of course Chad as well, to join in on our top 3 predictions, and I'm going to go in any order. Hazara, Son of Fubar, and Odd Ivan.
Okay, I'll go for Odd Ivan. Going to be very similar to yours, but oh well. Odd Ivan, Son of Fubar, and I'm just going to have to go for Morris as well, just because I was feeling it for him at the start of the season, so Morris.
So we're already getting a couple of guesses on our trivia question. Doran guesses Michael Schumacher with 2 wins. I will let everyone know the answer after the race is over. I'll let you know who won and how many times they've won that particular race. That way it gives everyone a chance to get the answer in. If we have some downtime during the race, I'll pose the question again. Of course, for those of you listening who may not have heard it, the question is, before the Formula One came back to Imola, the race was called the San Marino Grand Prix. Which driver won the final San Marino Grand Prix, and how many times has he won that event?
Also, to picture it in the comments as well, X-Gamer says there is rain for the whole race.
Oh boy, so that's going to be a very interesting play today. A lot of tire strategy. Yeah. Well, not tire strategy, but just try to keep it on track strategy is what I call it.
Yep, keep it on the black stuff really, if it's going to be full wets the whole time. It depends if it's going to lighten up or not. Obviously, X-Gamer said it's going to be raining for the whole race, so we might see some people going on to Inters later on during the Grand Prix if it lightens up a bit, but let's find out. If there isn't, then it's definitely going to be a no-stopper. You can normally do the whole race on one set of 4 wet tyres. So really, it's just about keeping on the black stuff and keep it consistent and stay out of trouble.
Of course, Imola here is our 5th race of the season, and after 5 races, we haven't actually talked about the championship yet today, Mansell, but to Jonas still leads the standings after last week. He did not start in Azerbaijan, but still was able to maintain a 3-point lead over Train Game Wow in second. So Jonas has 51 points. Train Game Wow's 48. Now, Train Game Wow today is starting in 9th, where Jonas is all the way back in 18th position. So unless Jonas can somehow find some speed and work his way through that traffic, we might see Train Game Wow just barely pulling ahead a little bit.
Yeah, it's very close. Say top 5. Next game at Langfell, Tom, Train and Jonas all within 11 points of each other. So yeah, I think you just got to. It's still early stages, so really you just need to stay consistent, really, and pretty much stay in the top 5. I would say for these 5 drivers.
And now is the time that everyone was waiting on, the drivers finding their appropriate positions on the grid, and you hear those engines revving, you hear those itchy pedal feet, the drivers watching the lights. If there were lights to watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in the air. No red lights, and we are green for the Speed Force Racing GP2 Series Amelia Romagna Grand Prix. And already Jonas, he's got a drive-through penalty for a jump start. Major championship implications there. Hazara already loses first place to Train Game Wow, who is somehow, no, we have a little bit of an issue, so Hazara is still in the lead. Second place is going to be Tom GoPro. Bossy Gaming looks like something has happened to him, as well as Martin and Frederick. Did you see it, Mansell?
So at the end of it, by the looks of things, someone must have lost traction. Morris has got involved as well. He's completely lost his front wing, so I think Morris was involved of it as well. But I just got a glimpse of the 3 colliding with each other. I didn't see exactly what happened, but I'm guessing along the line of someone losing traction and then collecting the other 2 or the 3. I'm guessing as we go into a full safety car.
So Hazara, Tom GoProf, Eric's Mamba, Eric Sheaston, Son of Fubar, your top 5 after half a lap due to a absolute carnage going into turn number 1. You mentioned that drivers lost traction, and well, I'd say that is definitely a given. Unfortunately, Bossy Gaming, Martin, and Frederick were the unfortunate victims of said traction loss, but Hazara seems to do okay. Of course, we did have a little bit of a scoring issue there that you saw, so Train Game Wow, he is officially being scored in the 9th position, which was where he started, I do believe, and where he should be, respectively.
He's actually ghosted as well, so he might not even be in the session if he's ghosted. Same with X Gamer, they're both ghosted.
So perhaps some communication issues with a few of our drivers. Hopefully that will not affect the race. But Hazara, Tom GoProf, and Eric's Mamba, they seem to be okay at least. And Hazara, I'd say that he's quite enjoying himself from the first spot there. However, I'm sure that he wishes that it was green so he could just keep racing and maybe put on a gap to Tom GoProf. But instead, we have to ride around the safety car for a few laps as they have now caught the safety car.
So at the moment for Jonas, the championship leader, it's already pretty much a race to forget for him. Obviously, he crashed out in qualifying and he's now jumped the start with a drive-through penalty right at the back of the grid, and he hasn't actually got a helmet on either. I don't know if you can see it as well, Tim, but on my screen he hasn't even got a helmet on.
So we're going to take a look at Jonas's helmetless head here, and my goodness, that's exactly what he doesn't have, is no helmet. But you know what, though? I'm honestly, I have to commend Codemasters and the FIA for their insistence upon safety. Even the virtual drivers are not allowed to race without a head sock.
Yeah, so obviously Jonas has actually forgotten about putting his helmet on, and he's probably wondering why his head is getting extremely wet at the moment.
Oh, this is so ridiculous. This is just how we have to kill time during the safety car. But yeah, in all seriousness, this is just a glitch that does happen sometimes. But in real life, though, those head socks are worn by drivers, for those of you who may not know. And, it's very important. They are a fire retardant head sock, which, as we have seen many times in the past, is a very important safety feature that drivers need. So I personally am impressed that Codemasters, was able to, draw that. But I'm also kind of wondering why they have a model available without a helmet. I
think the last driver to be racing in an F1 car, I'm trying to invite Train Game up, but this is an error, this has it cured. The last time a driver was racing in an F1 car without a helmet was the 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix with Mark Webber on his in-lap after the race. Obviously that was his last ever race in Formula 1, and pretty much after the race he could pretty much do whatever he wanted. Obviously he went slow, coming into the pits as well without his helmet off. Yeah, I think that was the last driver without a helmet on, driving in a team car.
Well, at least the FIA doesn't let the drivers race without helmets in real life, so that's always good. Of course, Train Game Wow, he is still having a little bit of issues getting back into the session. Yeah. So Mansell, if you could give him.
I am trying to. I'm pressing invite friends, but then it keeps coming up saying an error has occurred.
Oh my goodness, I have had that before too. So we're gonna have to go to a blue screen for just a moment. I'm sorry, everybody, and we'll see if maybe I can do it. And unfortunately, I am getting the exact same error.
Unfortunately, I would leave and try and rejoin and then do it again, but I am actually got a spare invite and you won't be able to send me one either if you're getting the same message. So, that is very unfortunate.
Yeah, we definitely need to be sending out about 5 to 10 invites per person for these sessions just to cover our bases here. As the safety car is now coming in this lap, Hazara, Tom Goproff, and Eric Mamba, your top three. Hazara is going to be that control car, so he gets to choose when to go as long as they go before the start-finish line. And we'll see if he's able to catch Tom Goproff sleeping or if Tom Goproff is going to, well, no pun intended, go along with Hazara.
It's a bit like Train Game as well. Really do a pun with his name.
Chugga Train Game.
That's it.
Well, we're not going to have any DRS trains today, so I had to work it in somewhere, I guess, as now we are going green, and Hazara gets a decent start, but Tom Goproff, he's sticking close to the back of that Alpha Tauri. Of course, the Red Bull is just on the back of that McLaren, so we got a 3-car fight hanging down into turn number 1.
Sabat
oh my goodness, and Son of Ubar sending it on the inside.
He's got Yeast, who's side by side with Yeast, and now he's about to get his teammate of Mamba, and he's got Mamba as well. He's pushed Mamba a bit wide, and Yeast has got overtaken by about 2 cars there. Imola is side by side with him, but he lets him go. Rogue Smithy is having a look as well, but Ivan's going to have a look around the outside of Mamba. But Mamba keeps the inside line and keeps the P5 position for now.
Meanwhile, there's a little bit of chaos there in the back. He's going to ride on board with Rogue Smithy, but really even the chaos is a little bit further behind him. A side-by-side battle between Calvin and Pim.
Calvin's alright. He's had a half spin. I don't think no damage has been caused to him. But he can carry on.
Probably not going to be too happy about that, though. Him and Pim just had a side-by-side moment. Looks like Pim made a little bit of contact. Calvin, was off the track, unfortunately, and now he seems to be a little bit slow, trying to look and see if there is damage, but none that I can see. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not wing damage. Just means that there's no visible wing damage, as his teammate Crowhawk is actually able to get by him, and he is slowed down significantly, so I think that there is definitely something wrong.
It says apparently Calvin's in AI mode. That might be why. He might be right now. Obviously, makes sense. Does he come into the pit? He does come into the pit, so he might have run damage.
So meanwhile, I believe it was Tom Goproff or Hazara, one of those two drivers, just setting the fastest lap of the race, and they're still battling it out pretty hard. Tom Goproff not letting Hazara out of his sights. I would say that he is within DRS range, but we're not going to be seeing that today, unfortunately. So Tom Goproff is going to have to pass him on nothing but pure pace alone, and not sure that that's going to be the easiest of tasks, as Hazara seems to pretty much have that car on a rail. Doesn't matter if it's in the dry or the wet.
Yep, so really, drivers are now pretty much settled into this race now. All it is really now is for them just to keep up on the black stuff without spinning and keep it consistent, and a good result will come their way.
So Train Game and X Gamer both need an invite, we are seeing in the chat, and of course X Gamer is calling for a restart of this race, so that is not my decision to make. So I have no power over that, and unfortunately we cannot get them back in the race as well.
Yeah, it's still coming up with error has occurred, unfortunately.
So not sure how that's going to go, not sure how the league admins are going to make a decision on that. So we will just continue with the race as normal, and any further updates that we can bring you, we will bring you as soon as possible.
Yeah. We've got confirmation from Calvin in the GP2 chat saying the race is being restarted apparently. I don't know why.
So the question is, does Frederick, Bossy Gaming, and Martin, are they able to participate?
What's going on? I'm trying to find out what's going on. Why are we having a restart?
Well, meanwhile, we at least have something to watch, and Tom Goprop slowly creeping in on that AlphaTauri of Hazara. We'll ride on board with the McLaren driver just to see what kind of methods he's using to get across this absolutely soaking racetrack. I mean, if you've ever tried to drive in the rain on the Formula One game, you will know that it is no easy task. It doesn't matter what assist you have turned on, it is definitely difficult. So for these two drivers to be racing and still going at a decent pace is nothing short of amazing and very admirable as far as I'm concerned, as we now see Son of Fubar creeping up behind Tom Goprop. Tom Goprop losing some time to the AlphaTauri and losing time to Son of Fubar. Son of Fubar going to maybe look for a move into turn number 1, but remember, he doesn't have that DRS, so he's going to have to do everything in his power to get a fantastic exit, and I think he did, but not good enough. He's going a little bit wide there, not cutting the course too short. He is using that slipstream, and he is gaining on Tom Goprop, but it's not going to be enough to make a move. Of course, this is where he tried to make the 2 moves in 1, getting by the Red Bulls, although it only worked with 1 Red Bull initially. But nonetheless, Son of Fubar, as Tom Goprop slides and loses it, he keeps it out of the wall, I believe. But that gave Son of Fubar a free place, and we're going to take a look at the front wing of that McLaren, and there is no damage that we can see on that McLaren. So good job, Tom Goprop, for hanging on to that car.
Yeah, so I was looking at Odd Evind while you was talking. Odd Evind and Mamba. Odd Evind tries to go in the inside of Mamba, but Mamba keeps the P5 position for now as well. Very Smithy in P7 right behind the battle as well. His teammate Kim.
So meanwhile, we'll go ahead and take a look at Odd Ivan in the AlphaTauri. He is having a battle with Rogue Smithy, as you were mentioning, Mansell, and through the chicane, Rogue Smithy is able to take it fairly smoothly, but not the best of exits. That gives Odd Ivan just a chance to pull away and get a little bit of a breather. But, you know, that's really the problem I'm noticing with this racetrack, and I noticed it Monday, is that it is a very difficult track to pass on. So it doesn't matter, even if you've got DRS, it really doesn't matter. It is so difficult to make a move on this track, and the fact that it is pouring wet with rain right now makes it 10 times worse, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm back with the front 2. Son of Furbar just put the fastest lap in, and he's also gaming on Hazara, so he's got very good confidence around Imola in the wet conditions at the moment. 5/10 of the difference between himself and Hazara. There's our dive line again. There's a little look at Mamba. Mamba goes a little bit wide. It might give Vine a chance. It will. Vine's going to try and go around the outside of Mamba. Mamba's, of course, has got that inside line, and best possible way to defend, and Mamba keeps a P5 position again for now.
I'll tell you this, you mentioned that Hazara is confident. Well, I think that I could not have said it any better. Hazara is about as confident as a lion in a pack of gazelles.
Yeah.
Tom Goprop trying to catch the Alpine of Son of Fubar once again. Son of Fubar, he's starting to struggle a little bit. We see him kind of making a few mistakes and sliding. Of course, you're not really going to be perfect in the rain. It doesn't matter what. But Son of Fubar had a chance to get at Hazara, but lost it in the uphill left-hander.
As Pim and Rogue Smithy, 2 teammates have just swapped positions. So Pim is now the leading driver of the Williams pair. He's now going to try and get the chance to get Avine and Mamba. I think Avine's probably going to come back at Mamba. ERS should be on for him, of course. Mamba's ERS probably on as well. Mamba, I think he's going to try and defend this as well. I think he's going to have to. Avine's going to try and go around the outside at the chicane, but Mamba outbrakes Avine and keeps that E5. But with that, he's going to compromise his exit. But Mamba will keep that P5. Again, good defending so far from Mamba.
Still watching the battle between the two teammates of the Williams, so we'll go ahead and switch over to Mamba and Odd Ivan. And just behind Odd Ivan, we actually got Pim, so pretty much it is the Mamba train. So now I can work it in. Chugga chugga choo choo. We got the Mamba train leading, Odd Ivan leading about 6 cars, it seems, for that P5 position, trying to give chase to his teammate of Eric Schiest, who is a whopping 2.7 seconds ahead of him on track.
Rohor, a penalty with a, well, proper penalty anyway, the track limits penalties, let's say. And he's actually on the back of Crowhawk as well, so this is turning out to be a one pretty big train. His Manifal is going to be joining them soon, very soon as well.
So lap 9 of 32 so far, Hazara, Fubar, and Tom Goproff, your top 3, with Eric Schiest and Mamba, your top 5. Odd Ivan, Pim, Road, Smithy, Crowhawk, and Langfell, your top 10. To Jonas, Train Game Wow, X Gamer, Morris, King David, Calvin, racing the remainder of the field. Watching Son of Fubar again, but we're going to have to switch back to Odd Ivan here in just a moment, because Odd Ivan is closing in on Mamba and almost lost it out of that corner. A big wiggle there, and pretty much he was turning right through a left-hander, but he was able to correct it and hang on to it, so good job from Odd Ivan. I believe that if he is able to maximize his exits, he will be able to get around Mamba. He seems to be a little bit more stable through these corners, but it's when he gets on the throttle that he has a little bit of a slide.
Yep. I think traction is key, of course, in what conditions. Get the traction, you can have a very good exit. And a very good race as well. As some Furbar's gone wide, they're going to give Tom the chance to overtake him, and Tom gets the move done with Son of Furbar going wide, but Son of Furbar is going to have a look back at Tom. But Son of Furbar backs out from it for now, but then he'll get the slipstream down the main straight, start-finish straight, of course. So Furbar will get the chance to re-overtake Tom, as I think he's going to get that chance side by side with them. Son of Furbar should be quite an easy mid. There is a little contact. Tom had to avoid taking out each other, and now Son is into P2 with Tom moving down to P3.
So Son of Fubar and Tom Goproff just trading spots on the podium. They're letting Hazara pull away 2.2 seconds now ahead of this battle, and just behind him, 3.7 seconds behind him, is still Eric Schiest, who is just really in a land of his own, and then 2 seconds behind him approximately is Mamba with that big train of cars that is now starting to space out in its own right. And that's really the issue that you get when you have a wet race, is because there's no DRS and there's no assistance in overtaking, you just kind of get forced into a little bubble to where you end up not being able to make a lot of moves, and the races just get spread out. But such is life sometimes. That is how it goes. But it's still fairly interesting to watch Son of Fubar and Tom Goproff, because I'd say that neither of them have really had a good time around here. They're just able to control their cars. But what is entertaining to us is stressful for them.
Yep, by the looks of it, I think we are getting a new lobby now. I've just got an invite from Martin. I think we should wait until everyone has actually left, and something I don't know what's going on now. Sarah's coming to the bits, he's retired, so yeah, I think that's it. I think that's pretty much the sprint race over and done with, and we're about to move on to the feature race.
Okay, and already we got a car wrecking out. Son of Fubar just deciding to bin it there right before he leaves the session. So there will be a restart. I'm wondering if it's going to be a dry race restart, or is it going to be a 50% race, or is it going to be a 25% race?
Well, I'm still in the GP2 chat, so I can still see that, and there's quite a lot of people that's not happy at the moment. Obviously, those are the guys that are just retired right now and just heard about it. But yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that this is happening, but these things do happen, unfortunately.
So it seems like this week here has been quite a few issues with things like this happening. So, that is unfortunately beyond our control. We can only work with what we're given, and if the software is going to have glitches, then sadly we cannot fix those glitches. We just have to work around them.
Yeah. I start thinking, oh, for God's sake. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm trying to join Martin, but I think I'm going to have to restart the game to join. So it's not joining.
So if invites are out, I have to accept that. So you're going to have to deal with the blue screen for a little bit, guys. Sorry to our viewers. But it is just, unfortunately, what we have to do. But go ahead and join back in. And Mansell, I guess we get a little bit of banter time now. Or karaoke. Let's see. Do we have any songs that aren't copyright protected?
You said that you was going to sing to me when I first joined the party, didn't you?
I did. But unfortunately, I don't know the song well enough to sing it. Because even when I looked up the lyrics, I couldn't quite put the tune to it. It's a new song that I have liked on Spotify within this week. So I'm still learning it. Now, I could sing you some Dio, if you've ever heard of Dio. Dio was fantastic.
Dio?
Yes, Dio. Ronnie James Dio?
Nope.
Please tell me we got some Ronnie James Dio fans out there somewhere. The man was a metal god.
So I'm going to have to restart my game because it's just not joining the session.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do the same, guys. So it looks like this has just been a bit of a banter stream. I think we had fun. We will be back then. I don't really know where to go with this. I'm really hoping I'm able to join in the session because, quite frankly, I'm having a good time. I'm on a bit of a roll here talking about metal gods and rain and whatever we've discussed. But I guess we will have to restart the stream here in a moment.